Hi Queens, Sam here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about an interesting topic that most people, when it comes to wealth building, sometimes don't really talk about, but very important. And it is about wealth building silent killers. Yeah. What are exactly wealth building silent killers? What do I mean by that? First thing, when it comes to wealth building, we need to be intentional about our money. Just making really sure where our money is going, what are we allocating our money to, how much we're spending, how much we're keeping. But there are some expenses that somehow, most of the time, will fly under the radar. And by the time we realize, we're talking about hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars that has gone, right? And then you realize, oh my God, I could have done so many things with that money. So I'm going to be sharing with you 5 silent killers when it comes to building wealth. I've been subjected to each and every of them. I've even been subjected to one of them not long ago. And I'm going to be really honest. When I get to that one, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. And then you realize that I'm also just a human being. As much as I'm keep an eye on my finances and I'm really strong about wealth building and putting the right mechanism and behaviors in place, life happens and sometimes I get to also pay those stupid taxes. So we'll get into it. And before I start, I just want to let you know this is a no guilt, no judgment, no shame zone. So as I'm going through them, if there are any that you feel like not that you feel, but you know that had happened to you, feel free to let me know. Out of the 5, how many actually happened to? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it all the 5? That's fine. All the 5 happened to me. So let's get started. The first one is bank account monthly fee. Why are you paying your bank or like your financial institution anything to actually hold your money at their institution? They should be the one paying you something. So if you have any monthly fee right now for your banking, you definitely want, first of all, you want to make sure, are you getting any value for that? And if you're not getting any value for it, this is the time that for you to pick up your phone, call your bank, and just let them know that you want that fee to be removed. And you need to have a good understanding of exactly what that fee entails. And if they say no, that they're not going to remove it, then you need to keep on paying that 10 or 15 or $20 a month. Then you take your business and you move somewhere else. We're living in a world of possibilities, options, and choices, and we are so privileged and to have like so many options when it comes to our finances in terms of financial institution where we can actually put our money or bank with. Take your business and move somewhere else. I used to work at a bank, and people will call me and then be like, why do I have that $20 deducted from my account each month? And that was their monthly bank account fee that they just didn't realize because it get charged, get embedded into other expenses, and then they wake up 2 or 3 years down the road and then they realize that they've been paying bank fees forever. And even if we were able to give them a bit of refund, we couldn't go back 2 or 3 or 5 years back. So you need to look at your bank statement and making sure that there are no monthly charges in there. And if there are any and you're not comfortable with it, call your bank and have it removed. The second silent killer when it comes to wealth building, still with your bank account, is withdrawal at bank machines. Granted, not many people use cash today, but sometimes we do need to have cash, and sometimes we find ourselves in a position where we don't have cash, but we need to buy something that require to have cash. So if you happen to withdraw money at the bank machine, which is not your financial institution ones, chances are you'll have to pay extra fees for that. You'll have to pay fee at the bank machine itself, and then your bank will charge you extra fee for taking money in a bank machine that is not theirs. So between the two, you might end up paying $6, $7, $8 additional to what you wanted to actually withdraw in terms of cash. And that is also a silent killer because you don't get that in your pocket. It just gets deducted from your bank account and then you move on with life. So you really want to avoid being in a situation like that. And if you really, you're in a tough position and you need to use a bank machine that is not your financial institution one, then take as much as you can. So then you know that you have the cash on hand for the next time you will need it. Third one, guilty as charged. That's the one that literally happened to me a few weeks ago. And that's the non-sufficient funds. Again, I'm usually on top of my finances, but in moving money here and there, I just completely forgot that there was a payment that actually will be taken from that particular account, and unfortunately there was not enough money in that bank account. The payment got bounced, got returned, and my bank charged me $40 of non-sufficient funds. Yes, you heard well. $40 of non-sufficient funds. And my provider on the other side was like, my payment got returned, I'm going to be charging you an extra $20. So between the two, I ended up paying an extra $60 for that payment that did not go through. Luckily, that payment was more than $60, because if that was less than $60, I would have been pissed. But that payment finally went through, right? Because I did the transfer the following day, they were able to take the money. However, I ended up paying an extra $60 that really I could have done without. That's like, a price for a nice meal, and I prefer to go, get a nice meal than paying like that stupid fee of $60. But I paid it and I learned from it. What I did right now is that I put an alert for that particular account to have for a minimum balance. So as soon as the balance drops under a certain amount, I'll get an alert on my phone, and then I'll be able to transfer money in that account to making sure it has enough to cover the monthly bills that I usually have taken from that account. So I've learned from it. Again, this is not for us, this space is not like to do everything perfect all the time, but it's to learn from it and put in place some measures so then we don't get to pay again those stupid taxes. Now, on to the fourth one. The fourth one is in regard to your credit card. If you're paying any annual credit card fee, you need to understand why you're paying that. Sometimes people don't even realize, because again, that's a fee that is charged against your card, gets embedded into other expenses, and sometimes you don't even realize because it gets charged usually annually. I do pay annual fee for my credit card, but I have a good idea of what I'm getting in terms of value, and I'm very comfortable with that. So you need to be comfortable with it. And if you are not, then you need to call your credit card company and ask them to put you onto a no-fee credit card. And if that's not possible, then you need to move on to another credit card company. Feel free to move to another financial institution or credit card company. You are not attached to them. You are not a tree. You can move somewhere else. This is your money, and you get to decide where you want to keep it. And you need to be somewhere where your business is valued and also that your needs are met. Now on to the fifth and last silent killer when it comes to wealth building. And I've shared a bit about that in my video on worst money advice. So if you haven't watched that video, I'll put a link in the description below. Have a look, because I do talk about that silent killer in there as well. And that is in regard again to your credit card. And that is the credit card interest. If out of the 5 there is one that I would strongly suggest that you tackle, that you address, is this fifth one, is the credit card interest. If you do not pay your balance every month, your credit card company is so happy, because they get to charge you interest, and then you get interest charge on top of interest, and your balance is just going up and up and up, much more than how much you're using the credit card for. And sometimes you find yourself in a very tough position where you just can't pay that balance, and then that might put you into a very very like in a discomfort where you have to go and negotiate, convert that into a loan. So you do not want to find yourself in that position. Definitely that silent killer, it's a gigantic one. Address it. Find a way to not have to pay any interest on your credit card ever, as much as possible, because your rate usually is between 20 and 25% for most credit cards. Why would you give 20% of how much you paid on the credit card as interest to the credit card company? This is your hard-earned money. Keep it in your pockets. So that's that. There you have it. Those 5 silent killers when it comes to wealth building. If this was any value to you, if you learned anything, or you were like, yeah, this is me, feel free to share the video with your network. Hit the like button on the video here, and also hit the notification bell. Subscribe to the channel, so next time I'm putting a video out there, that it's actually being published. And I would love again to hear your comments here. Which of those silent killers you have had, and what have you done exactly to help that the situation doesn't happen again. And until next time, keep building wealth.